Hey, I'm back with a 2-week report out, and I have so many things to talk about today, mostly with regard to pain, prosthetics, and clothing and adjusting to a new body shape and size. And then also at the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about breast cancer advocacy and the ways that I'm hoping to be more involved and visible in my community on behalf of breast cancer survivors. I'll have many more videos in the future that will go way deeper into those things, but I'm just going to touch on them today. So starting with pain at the 2-week point, I feel like the 2-week point, for me at least, on both of my mastectomies was a really pivotal point because that seemed to be the time when my pec block or the nerve block, whatever nerve block they gave me, kind of finally wore off, and I could start to feel what my body really is feeling in terms of its like bruisedness and just pain recovery and nerve sensitivity. So the main thing that I felt both times, my first mastectomy 10 months ago and this mastectomy that was just a couple weeks ago, is that when I start to eat something hot or cold, I can actually feel it going down on the other side of my pec muscle. So I can feel that my pec muscle is a little bit sensitive, and the heat and the cold factor feed into that, and I think that's just a deeper kind of pain, and it's not an unpleasant sensation. It's just a weird sensation. It's for me at least, it's not painful. It's just I would say just sensitive. So that's kind of a funny, weird thing that happens in my body at this point in the recovery process. The other kind of sensation that I have is on the surface of my skin where my incisions are. And this time I'm having a little bit more intense pain at the incision point. And I'm still on gabapentin at 2 weeks. I'm just starting to try to go down to 100 milligrams every 6 to 8 hours. And it's been hard to go down. I've tried a couple times and failed and gone back up to 200 milligrams. And especially right now with the sensitivity on the surface of my skin, on my new mastectomy side, I have the anchor pattern. So I have a big incision underneath my new little breast that's made out of skin. It's a Goldilocks Mastectomy breast. So a big one down here with the port right at the end of it. They're all connected, so I don't have a separate port scar, which is nice. And then a line going up through the center of it in a vertical fashion. And that scar, it's not a scar yet, it's an incision, that wound is really sensitive, especially when it's getting closer to time to take a gabapentin pill or two. And so what I've been doing is, since it's all closed up now, the steri strips are off, but doesn't look or feel like an open wound. And I definitely talk to your physician about what you should do, because I'm definitely not a physician and I can't advise you on this. But what I have been doing is I've been using this CBD serum that I got from my favorite CBD supplier down in California, Ojai Energetics. It's a facial serum, actually. It's made to go on the face and to be super anti-inflammatory and anti-aging. It's got a ton of really, really potent factors in it. Lots of concentrated fruit extracts and herb extracts and even some mushroom extracts, but it also has a really, really high potency CBD product that's water soluble, which is what Ojai Energetics specializes in. And I think they're the only ones, at least in the US, that make a water soluble CBD product. So that means your tissues, your cells can kind of absorb that CBD a lot more quickly and efficiently, and it doesn't get wasted, basically. It is super scented. It smells like a combination of fruit and flowers and herbs. It has a beautiful scent, but it's actually very strongly scented. And I'm not used to that. I don't use a lot of facial products that I don't make myself. And usually the ones I make myself are very lightly scented. And it's got a jojoba oil base, which is my favorite kind of skincare base. And it's actually a formulation that is made in cooperation with AnnMarie skincare, and AnnMarie is like the top rated brand for high quality clean skincare. So AnnMarie is the one that helped to formulate this and add all of those really anti-aging, healing, and anti-inflammatory factors. And so I'm a really big fan of this product. I did not expect to be. I didn't even ask for this product. They sent it to me in the mail for free because I'm a nutritionist and I use their products and I sell them to my own clients. CBD is actually a really amazing topical treatment. If you have eczema or any kind of rash or skincare issue, it is an amazing treatment for that. So I won't go all into that because that's a totally separate issue, but just wanted to say that that's been a really useful product, and I will definitely leave a link below, and I'll probably have a discount for you down there before too long, if not when this video goes live. It feels a little scary sometimes, especially if you have larger breasts after mastectomy, whether they're natural or if they have implants in them. It feels a little scary to be like bouncing around or moving a lot. And so my tendency, and many women have this tendency also, is to bind or hold, even though I have very little breasts, as you can see, tiny little mound here. I still have this desire to like hold it in and trap it in and hold it tight. So when I went for a walk with a friend this morning, my desire was just naturally to go and put a bra on. I don't need a bra. It's silly for me to wear a bra. But I did. I put a bra on, and it was my first time wearing a bra after mastectomy. After this mastectomy, I should say, this prophylactic Goldilocks one. And I have it on now. And what I've noticed is I don't have any prosthetic in the bra. It is a prosthetic holding bra, so it has a pocket on both sides for a prosthetic. And if I wore a prosthetic, I would put it in this side because this is my flat side. But I don't, and I'm noticing that it just keeps creeping up and up and up because there's nothing to hold it down. There's no breast and there's no prosthetic to hold it down. And it's a really cute bra, but if I put the prosthetic in this pocket inside this bra, if it's not really a heavy prosthetic because it's so small, even if it's made of silicone, it probably won't keep the bra from creeping up. And I don't need a bra. I don't have nipples. I don't have a need for that kind of support, and I don't need to hide my nipples because I don't have nipples. So I think one that just sticks to my skin and just stays there under my clothing, as long as it's going to stay and stick as an adhesive, would be the ideal type of prosthetic for my new body with this tiny breast and this flat side on the other side. So that's what I hope to try. However, I just was speaking to my prosthetic shop at my local hospital, the most knowledgeable and large prosthetic shop, and they say adhesive prosthetic breast prosthetics are not covered by insurance ever. So I am going into my prosthetic shop and I'm going to try on their pocketed bra compatible non-sticky, non-adhesive prosthetics and see if I can find one that looks similar to this tiny little breast that I have on the right. And if I do, it's paid for by insurance. I have a couple of the bras and I have lots of the camisoles left, which the camisoles actually work better at not creeping up. So I'll probably still get one and try it out now and then, but my guess is that I'm gonna highly prefer the adhesive ones because it just sounds so much more convenient to not have to wear a bra since I don't have to for the other reasons. So that's kind of my plan. Who knows if that'll come to fruition or not. I will check in and let you know for certain in future video about how my prosthetic journey has morphed and evolved. But that's what I'm thinking at this point. That's just what makes sense to me at this point. And it'll be a journey for sure. There'll be lots of trial and error, and hopefully I won't spend too much money in the process of learning about what I need in that department. So in terms of like presenting my new body to the world, how much of it I'm willing to show, whether I want to explore fashion options around my new body, those are all things I will definitely cover in their own video in the future too. And I will post them up above and down below when those videos are available. But what I'm noticing is that I think that I will not be one of those women. There's kind of two camps of women, like flat fashion for people who want to hide their flatness and flat fashion for people who want to flaunt their flatness. And I think I'm going to be 6 days a week, probably I will be one that doesn't mind flaunting my flatness. So I don't need to always appear to be equal on each side. I want to have fun with fashion, but I also want to be practical. I also am one that doesn't wear a lot of like sleeved shirts, I like to wear a base layer like this camisole that I'm wearing right now, and then wear like a sweatshirt or kind of a fashionable cardigan sweatshirt-ish thing over it, because I like to dress in layers. So I'm not going to be like having all kinds of ruffly things unless I'm going to a party or wedding or something like that. But for everyday use, I don't think I'm going to be one that tries to camouflage the fact that my breasts are uneven, or even wear a prosthetic for the most part, 6 days out of 7, I'm guessing. And that's something, just like that feeling of wanting to wear a bra that binds you and keeps you held in, that makes you feel more secure physically. That tendency is something that you can set into motion right about now. Between the 2-week and the 4-week point after mastectomy, you kind of have to decide and figure out what your norm is going to be, because these are habits that you're going to keep long term. And whatever you keep doing is what you'll do for the rest of your life, likely, because our habits just tend to stick. And last time, what I kept doing was wear a prosthetic, keep it in one of those Amona camisoles, those really nice, fancy, expensive Amona camisoles with the 2 little skinny straps like I've had on in most of my videos. That was my norm, and I wanted that nice tightness, that security, something on my body under my clothes, and I wanted to wear the prosthetic and hide my unevenness. I had a huge amount of unevenness because I had a double D breast on this side and almost total flatness on this side. So there was a lot of unevenness to hide, and the prosthetic made that way easier. Now there's not as much unevenness to hide. It's barely noticeable, especially when I'm wearing something dark, that this breast is bigger than my non-breast. And so I think I'm just going to have fun with fashion. I'm not going to wear that binding feeling necessarily. I'm not going to wear something tight because I want to be free and have my body be free. And so I'm not going to start that habit of that kind of, I don't know, like shapewear or something that really holds you tight, or a bra. I don't think I want to start that habit. And then in terms of my fashion habits, I don't want to start the habit of camouflaging or hiding my unevenness. I want to tell my story to the world through how I look. And if people are curious about it, they can ask me and I'll get to tell my story, which is great. If people want to make their own assumptions, that's fine too. They will see that I love my body and I'm not ashamed of it as an uneven person, as a person who has survived the scars and the tumultuous journey of breast cancer. And that's a story in itself. Just looking at me and seeing that I have pride in my body and that I'm not going to hide it. Now, I'm not judging people who do want to hide it, because it is a super sensitive, very, very personal thing. Some of us are more introverted in that way and need to have our own privacy protected, and our feelings about our body may not be as secure and may not be as confident and prideful. I've learned my pride from being around other flatties who are prideful about their body, and so I've learned that from others. It didn't come naturally, and so I'm not saying that everyone should just naturally be that way. In fact, I think none of us naturally are that way. But because I've learned it, I want to flaunt it. I want to share it with the world, and that's a habit that I definitely want to keep in place. So kind of some weird things about fashion and clothing and going down 5 bra sizes or bra cup sizes that I've noticed. A lot of people just say, I just kept wearing my same old clothes, no changes, no problem. I didn't have to get a new wardrobe. I've heard that said in the breast cancer forums on Facebook and online. And good for those people. That's great. I think that's very possible. Maybe 50% of the time, just based on how big your frame is and what kind of clothes you wore before. Since I am one of those people that likes to wear sleeveless shirts as my base layer and wear something over it, in most cases, whether it's like a button-up or just like a sweatshirt or a sweater that's kind of like a cardigan style, I have a lot of sleeveless clothing, and I need a lot of sleeveless clothing. And what I've noticed is when you have large breasts and you go down a few sizes like I have, you really need a different size of shirt. Like I went from a medium to an extra small in most cases, and in a lot of brands you can't even get an extra small, so I have to be really careful in figuring out which clothing producers or stores I can even shop in now to find an extra small. And a lot of brands also run a lot bigger than they should. So they have an extra small, but it's actually really large. So certain stores do that too. So I'm navigating my way through that, and it's a little awkward, but it's an adventure, and I'm trying to make it into kind of a playful experience. Yesterday I was in a really old-fashioned kind of variety store, and it's a place where the older generations in my community tend to shop, and I was very clearly braless, wearing a very light and loose, long shift dress. It was black, so it didn't show a lot of my breasts, but it was very clear that I was just kind of flowy and braless, and I felt pretty self-conscious in that environment with a lot of 70, 80, and maybe even 90-year-old women looking at my body. It's really something to adjust to not have bra straps in your life, to wear something really strappy, like spaghetti strap, and have it be really obvious that you don't have a bra on is kind of remarkable no matter what kind of city or town you live in. It's not our norm here, at least in America. I'm going to be challenging those norms for myself and for others that are older than myself, and just learning a new way, because I love not wearing a bra. And as weird as it is to not compress myself right now, I'm going to try really hard to not do so, because I want that to be the habit that I live with. And I've heard stories of women who have gotten used to that feeling of compressing, and then they can't live without it. And I don't want to be one of those that needs to depend on having a bra or a tight camisole underneath everything that I'm wearing. So as I promised, I am going to talk a little bit today about some of the things I'm really excited to be venturing out on now that I'm all done with surgeries, hopefully, and don't have to be planning for any more surgeries or procedures around my breasts. So the next chapter for me is going to be focusing more on advocacy and education. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to be headed down to San Diego for a week-long, super intensive training on breast cancer advocacy. And there are different branches of breast cancer advocacy, and certainly different organizations that you can work with. And you can work on your own with small nonprofits as well, depending on how progressive you are. And I don't know which path I will choose, but I have some guesses about which paths I will choose. There's one larger organization that I really want to work with called the Lobular Breast Cancer Alliance, just because I have I had a rare form of cancer called lobular cancer. And the Lobular Breast Cancer Alliance is the main organization in this country for research around that. But there are also smaller organizations that I'm already involved with that I'm really passionate about. And that has more to do with visibility of our bodies and pride in our bodies, like I was talking about before. And those organizations that I'm already volunteering for are Flat Retreat. I'm working on a committee to plan the retreat that goes with the International Flat Day celebration down in San Francisco on October 7th and 8th. So I'm on that planning committee already, and it's super fun. It's just planning a retreat. And I'm not even one of the main planners, so it's pretty lightweight. And then I am an ambassador for a number of walks here in the Portland area in Oregon for an organization called Stand Tall AFC. And that organization mostly organizes walks and teams for walks. And AFC stands for Aesthetic Flat Closure. It's a term I didn't know in time to get an aesthetic flat closure, which is a closure that leaves you with a nice, tight, flat chest. Aesthetic flat closure is a medical term, and it is a phrase that you can use with your surgeon to let them know that you don't want extra skin hanging out or extra bumps and lumps or false nipples hanging out, if that's your desire. And so Stand Tall AFC is the organization that leads teams or trains people like me to lead teams in their local town or city around breast cancer walks. And what we do is we wear a t-shirt that talks about body positivity and has a picture of the new Simpsons character, Wendy Sage, who is a uniboober, who looks very much like I looked a month ago before my surgery, with one large breast and one flat side. And it's just a little bit of a commentary on this. This is cool too. You know, having an unusual body is okay, and we can still love our bodies, and we can still show pride in them and not be ashamed of them or embarrassed about them in public. And those who are flat, who don't have nipples, usually take their shirts off for part or all of the breast cancer walk. And I do not know yet if I'm going to be doing that myself. I don't want to gross anyone out or make anyone traumatized by my actual incisions, which are very dark red right now. So the breast cancer walks aren't that far away. So I don't know if I'm going to be taking my shirt off. I will for a picture with my other flatty sisters in the group at the end of the walk for sure. And I might hold my hand over this side because it is a little more bloody looking. This side I did have a small revision, but it's not bloody at all. So we'll see if the bloody stuff is still there at that time. And that's why I'm not showing you my incisions today, because I don't want to show something that's kind of gore-ish, I guess, on YouTube. I don't want to go that far and cross that line. So sorry about that. You can, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll get to see everything because I share my body fully on a regular basis. I share all the fun things I'm doing with the breast cancer community locally on a regular basis. Which reminds me, I am also volunteering with a very local, not even nonprofit, but just a business owner who is doing a very low cost offering to breast cancer survivors. And she's taking photographs of them in tribal or warrior type of persona. So she has lots of costumes, makeup, hair ornaments, feathers, and things to make you feel like you're strong and you're part of a tribe, and even maybe a warrior if that's part of what your identity is. And yesterday was my first time volunteering with her, and I'm going to do it probably on a monthly basis, where I'm just kind of helping out in the background. Yesterday I took care of someone's dog, and I took about 100 pictures of the 3 gals getting their pictures taken together. So whether you know each other or not, it's always done in a group so that there can be a sense of solidarity. I made a really fun Instagram reel that's on my Instagram also if you want to follow me there. My handle is at a breast cancer diary with dots in between the words. And that's pretty much all I wanted to share today. That's a lot. Be sure to ask questions, either reach out to me individually, or you can comment down below if you feel safe doing so. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up with my story. I'll have at least a few more videos about my recovery, and then I'll start talking more about my ongoing journey with advocacy work, volunteering, and flat fashion. And definitely that prosthetic journey is not over. So there'll be a lot more to talk about in coming videos. And I'll see you there. Bye-bye.